Morning. Monday. Nice little wintry Monday morning. Nice and bright, bit cold. Thought I'd just have a little chat today about guilt. Now, we all suffer from guilt. A lot of the time we suffer from guilt. Guilty about doing too much, guilty about doing too little, guilty about not being there, etc, etc. These are, again, normal things like we've talked about before. Fear is a normal thing, the body needs it. I just want to try and explain a little bit from my personal point of view as somebody who's been diagnosed with depression, PTSD, compassion fatigue, which is a tricky one. Guilt for me is huge, absolutely huge. I feel guilty about everything. Now, I don't know if that's because naturally I'm just a miserable old git. Could be. If that's the case, then I apologise, and you know, these videos aren't for you, but I would prefer to think that guilt for me is the start of a circle of overthinking, a circle of emotions, and it takes a long time for me to get out of that, to be fair. So ultimately this person is who I am, and I find it difficult to break that. So a few people have done some really nice things over the weekend for me, and a lot of people tell me, you're not this person, you're not that person, you do deserve these things. So I just want to try and say, you're probably very right. You know, these videos are my way of getting a little bit of a message out. If they help, great. If not, great. You know, you don't need to watch them. So a typical scenario for me will be when I need time for myself, because we all need that time. I'll then take myself off. I've got a little space. I'll take myself off, and I'll spend a couple of hours in there. Because of that, I feel a little bit better because I've had those couple of hours and I'm resetting. The fallout from that for me is I then feel guilty because I feel good about myself, but I haven't spent that time with my family. Now, for a normal person, you would be, that's okay, because I need to be at the best that I can for my family to enjoy being with me, and for me to enjoy being with my family. Perfectly logical. For me, that's not how it works. I will then go the other way. So I will be guilty that I've not spent a couple of hours with my family. I will then go down the road of, but I feel happier now because I haven't spent that time with my family. My family haven't missed me, so therefore they don't need me. So the guilt of something like that then goes on to lack of confidence, lack of self-worth, lack of self-esteem. And that's awful. That's a great big cloud. And there's no reason to feel like that. There's absolutely no reason at all. You know, I've been married for a while. My kids love me in their own way. With autism and ADHD, being told to shut up is a good point. But that guilt and the way it makes me feel is a really, really hard thing to live with and to explain. So I choose not to explain it. So it will come across as lack of self-confidence. And a lot of people out there will say, wow, no, he's got to be confident because he's doing these videos. No, I'm doing these videos because I'm not confident. The lack of self-esteem, again, I've got a good job, I've got a house, kids, wife, car, all the things that society says you must have to have made it in this world. I put that down to look. I just put that down to a mask. So I wear a good mask at interviews, obviously. However, I can't continue to wear that mask for the years. I had my one-to-one personal development appraisal with my boss, and she loves me. She thinks I'm great. One of the things that came out of it was I must start to believe in my own abilities because I'm cracking at what I do. Okay, that's easy for somebody to say. Very easy for somebody to say. So then I'll come home and I'll be like, well, yeah, maybe she's right. Maybe she is right. But because of the depression, emotions tend to be a little bit flatline. So I tend not to be able to get excited about that. To be honest, not an awful lot excites me at the moment because of the feelings of low self-esteem, low self-worth, lack of confidence. That will come out again in various ways. I will question everything. I will overthink everything. I become this miserable old git that I don't want to be. But I've been this person now for 7 years, and I don't know how to not be this person. I would love some advice from you guys out there. How to not be this person that I am. But then if I'm not this person that I am now, will I be another person? Or will I still be the same person, but with so then we get into this whole overthinking circle again. I don't do these for self-recognition. I do them because I hope it helps somebody out. I hope it's just not me that feels like this, because if it is, then I'm in serious trouble. It's nice to know if there are people out there that feel the same as this. The messages I get back say, you do. How do you cope? How do you do it? I want these to be interactive. I want some comments from some of you guys out there, because I struggle to find the answers. And the things that people do and the things that people say to me just don't resonate with the person that I feel I am, if that makes sense. I have things that I feel guilty about. I feel guilty about having to put my older boy in care because I couldn't handle his aggression and couldn't handle his violence. And social services is basically just said to me, if you have him at home, we're going to put all your kids on a child protection list. Well, they don't deserve that. They don't need that. My kids are absolutely fine. So they're things I have to learn to reconcile that. It plays heavily on my mind. I'm quite a solitary person, if the truth be known. You all know me on social media. A few of you have met me. Again, I don't know what I come across as. I don't know what I come across like. I just wanted to give you a bit of a view of guilt for a normal person is fine. Guilt for somebody like me just opens the door to a massive world of overthinking, lack of confidence, lack of self-esteem, questioning myself, questioning the things I do, questioning the people around me, why they're around me. And I just wanted to put it out there. I'm not in a particularly, unhappy mood today. Had a good weekend, had a chilled weekend. I was off all last week for various reasons, but still did some work from home. So no, I'm not. I'm happy Jay today. And again, those that know me will know that that's not true. But have a good week, guys. Have a think. Guilt is a good thing. If we can reconcile it. If we're guilty for just being guilty, then no, that's not a good thing, because I know where it leads us to. But, so here's a thought. It's 44 days to the end of the decade. Not the end of the year, the end of the decade. So in 45 days' time, we will be in 2020. So, as we talk about the 60s, the 70s, the 80s and the 90s and the noughties, how will we reflect on the 10s? So the last decade for me, massive roller coaster. Never thought I would have done, seen, said, been to the places I've been or the things I've done. But my bucket list for the next 44 days is to try and lose some of this emotional baggage that tends to follow me around in an Arctic truck at the minute. But I want to try and lose some of it in the right way. I don't want to try and abandon it, because the emotions and the things that I've learned through that journey of emotion has made me the person that I am, but not necessarily the person that I want to be. So I want to be able to change that. So just have a think. 44 days to the end of the decade. Even if we just write one thing down, let's make sure we do it. Have a good one, guys. Check later. Bye bye.